Good morning, Europe. I hope you're well. It's Thursday, the 6th of March, 2025, and the markets will open in approximately 1 minute. I should be live on all three outlets now. Good, so I hope you're well. As I said, the markets will open momentarily. It's an interesting open because we have the DAX closing at 23,081 and it's currently trading at 280, meaning that it's gap up by 200 points. While the FTSE closed at 8755 and is currently trading at 8770. So the FTSE is gap up by, call it 15 points, 10 points, and the FTSE, and the DAX up 200 points. Could be interesting to, TD365 has this index product called the differential. I think I'll just, I want to bring up the differential. Could be interesting to keep an eye on. Well, that was the first 50 points correction in the DAX. That didn't take long. So if you'd done the old sell the DAX and buy the FTSE, you would have been plus 50 in the DAX already and, well, minus 8 in the FTSE. Why we have such a divergence between the two indices, I'm really not sure. I've been looking at news, but couldn't tell you. So it's Thursday, the 6th of March. We have some news out today. Amongst other things, we got an ECB press conference about quarter to three about Central European time. And we got US unemployment claims coming out an hour before the US markets open. FTSE is filling the gap already. Looks like it's going to be a first bar negative. So I'm ready for that. Just want to have a look at the daily chart. We're coming down to the lows of yesterday and the previous day, which came in at 8744. That comes after a double top. So I have to wonder if we're going to take out the lows. We got 2 minutes left of the first 5-minute bar. So here's the daily chart. So keep an eye out for 8744, currently trading at 8750. The highest bar that we have had on the daily was on Monday. The low is 8792. We haven't closed below that. I think if you get a close down here, it will technically trigger a sell signal with a target of 8611. It sure does look like fairly aggressive selling right out of the gates with 1 minute to go of the first 5-minute bar. So we're trading below the range down here. And we have 20 odd seconds left of the first 5 minute. That will momentarily trigger on my software a buy signal down here, currently around 8:37. So here we go. The low is 8738.8, so anything below 8738 will basically qualify as a first bar negative buy setup. As you often see when you have a very negative bar, and it's certainly something I will deploy when I'm trading without the watchful eyes of everybody else, is I'm simply a buyer, simply just buy when that bar closes, because from the research that I have done, you almost always see the market at least temporarily push higher. So it's good for a scalp. Now, I'll be quick to point out to you that you have to obviously also have some sort of stop loss parameter in place. If we look at yesterday's price action in the FTSE on the open, you had a first bar negative. I don't know if you took that trade down here. I personally did that because it came much later in the day, but the setup would have worked just fine. Is that so technically speaking, the first bar negative is a situation where you want to be a buyer below the low of the first negative bar, but technically you also want to be a seller. But as I'm always very quick to point out, the selling above a first bar negative doesn't or isn't associated with the same kind of strike rate as buying below the first bar negative. And the last time I did take that trade, it lost. And I do keep track of these things because I think they're important to be mindful of. And so, therefore, if we were to see the same today, I am not going to sell short the FTSE above the high of the first bar negative. Quite the contrary, I might be a buyer. If we look at the price action yesterday in the FTSE, and that's something you will see me talk about repeatedly. You have a positive first 15-minute bar. Whenever you have an opportunity, when you sense, well, this market is pushing higher because you got a low and then you got subsequent higher lows. When you have an opportunity to be a buyer below prior bar low or equal to, basically what Al Brooks would refer to as a micro double bottom, you want to be a buyer down here. But let's just go over to what we're dealing with this morning, because it looks like we're going to have that opportunity. Now the question is just, all right, how do I want to trade this? Do I want to go all in immediately, or do I want to see if they're going to run stops further below the daily lows? So the daily lows are coming in here at 44 and 44 respectively. The DAX is in a much better state. But the fact that we just ran up and then come all the way back down again suggests to me that this selling pressure isn't over. So maybe I'm not going to be in a rush to be a buyer. Well, let's see. My account is, so here we go. Just gonna, so there you go. The area has been breached now. So I'm just going to be patient. Just to give you an account update, my account is currently at 16,300, which is approximately £100 below the absolute low point. Sorry, the absolute high point. So I'm not far from the, shall we say, all-time high on the account. So first bar negative has triggered a long, but I am not. I'm just waiting a bit. One thing you can do is you measure the length of the previous candle. It was 17 points. Currently range is 10. So the first range was 27, then 17, and currently about 10. I'm going to take a chance now and buy the FTSE here. Oh, by the way, I have added to my long position in sterling dollar. As you can see, I still think that sterling dollar could have a date with 140. I'll show you on the weekly chart. So there we go. I think that we're headed up here. May take some time, of course. So let me just reduce that. Okay, so the FTSE is, so I currently have a stop loss at 8710. It's quite a big stop loss, and I don't think it actually needs to be that big, and I'll probably move that stop loss up as soon as I can. Let's just have a look at the DAX. The DAX is just whistling to a different tune than the FTSE this morning. So I'll try not to be a shorter of the DAX, I prefer to just find a place to buy. We're coming up to the first 15 minutes. FTSE is tethering. So what we've done, the royal we is, I've been a buyer on a first bar negative setup below the last 2 days, and that in itself is somewhat dangerous. Try and give you an example. Take over here. You have 2 identical lows at 8510, 8511, and then on the next day, you see the market take it out by approximately 30 points. So if you're looking at the price action on the 23rd of January, probably will need a so here's the 23rd of January. There's 23rd of January. Well, that doesn't seem right. What have I got wrong there? Or is it just a gap down from the... Let me just double check that. Did I get the wrong date? 22nd, 23rd. Sorry, it was the 24th of January. So the 22nd and the 23rd, we have identical lows at 8577. Then on the 24th, let me go back on the 24th. So here's the 24th. You see right out of the gates a very weak FTSE. But so far, it's looking okay for us. I'll move stop loss to break even. So I'm 10 points in profit, so that will justify moving stop loss to break even. DAX is marching ahead. Great. So if we do get a close on a 15-minute chart below a prior bar low, as you're seeing here, if we do get a close, it would possibly warrant a short position in the FTSE. Yeah. So just bear that in mind. So let's go over to the 5-minute chart. Stop losses at break even. Looking at the 15-minute bar, if we were to close below the low at 8731 on a 15-minute chart, then maybe I need to sell short the FTSE. So far, I've been 10 points in profit. My stop loss is at break even. I have managed to buy the FTSE 2 points off the lows. And yeah, there's always the chance that it's going to micro double bottom, take out my stop loss. But I'm quite comfortable with moving my stop loss to break even when I'm 10 points in profit. So I've been stopped for 0. DAX, on the other hand, is just relentless. So a massive, massive breakout, all-time high. So if I was to get a sell signal in the DAX, well, look at the price action from yesterday in the DAX. and you're seeing a school run trigger above the range, sadly, and absolutely fair play, but it would have made more sense to be a seller here. The stop loss is phenomenal. We're talking about an 80-point stop loss that the DAX actually goes below only to reverse back up again. So if you had been a seller on the school run short, which I don't think you would have because you want to be a buyer below the school run bar, if that bar takes place above the range, you'd had to sweat out 2 plus certain. Yeah, that's 44 points. So the ranges are significant in the DAX, and that it needs to be factored into the size of your trade. FTSE, on the other hand, different. Just excuse me for 1 minute. Okay, so we got a close on the 15-minute in the FTSE. That would mean a stop loss around 45. I think just for illustration purpose, I want to do a small position, something like a fifth of my normal size, just because the stop loss would require a bigger stop loss than I'm perhaps normally used to. I wasn't too minds whether to sell short here at 31, but I decided not to. Let's just have a look at the DAX is double topped. So I'm just going to go back to the 24th of January and see what the extent of the morning damage was, because they seem quite similar. So here's the 24th. So on the 24th, the FTSE falls from a double bottom at 8,570, and it falls for an hour down to 8,533. So from 8,570 to 8,533 is actually then falls later in the day. It's approximately, call it 40 points. Excuse me. So we're coming up to the conclusion of the second 15-minute candle in the DAX, and right now the DAX is sat near the all-time high. It just double topped on the morning range, and we got 2 minutes to go before the next 15-minute candle is completed. And what that would mean is I would want to be a buyer below. I'm selling the FTSE again, this time in half size, just adding to it. It's more to illustrate how to play it rather than play it in big size. Even on my oil account, I wouldn't necessarily trade this in full size. And this is what it looks like. So you can say to yourself, I'm going to play for a 30-point move in the FTSE, and I'm going to add every 5 points in very small size. The software you're seeing me use is a software that I've developed. You are welcome to use it free of charge. All right, let's look at the FTSE. Getting ready to add again. So the low of the second 15-minute bar in the DAX is 23,333. And the next low was 42. So it's going to be interesting below 33 to consider being a buyer. The problem with being a buyer down here is, wow, the stop loss is chunky. Just the range of the second 15-minute candle is 100 points. 100-point range on the second 15-minute candle. And the range on this first candle is 170. FTSE is reversing a little. Oh joy, I have 581 unread messages. Great. And then the inevitable, someone posting 582. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Right. Got a trigger. In school run long now. My God, the stops are big. Do you see this? We're talking about a stop loss of 100 points. I can't trade that in normal size. I'm going to have to. But you know what I am going to do? I want to short this. And I just said I don't want to short the DAX today. Yeah, shorted the DAX. I'm taking profit in the FTSE now. Just pressing here, close all, and it just does it for me. Pop, pop, pop. And in the DAX, considering I should be long, but I did an anti, I'm closing the DAX here for 30 points profit. Cool. Result. All right, let's see what the next is. Why did I take the anti over the overnight range? I did that because my gut feel told me to. My gut feel says top, top, double top, just above. You saw the same happen yesterday. I'll show you. First, second, big push up, sell here because you're so high. Try and be a buyer at some point below. If we follow yesterday's pattern, we're going to see a move below this current low, and we're going to let that complete, and then maybe we'll be a buyer again. Oh, I really wanna post this this conversation I got going with some nut job somewhere who says that I'm an aging man, I should stop trading. It's just what, and then when you listen to his voice, it's like hilarious. I'll let you listen to it. Oh my god.
Humans get everything in order, but you already have everything you want. If you decide you want to buy a mansion today, you can do that. If you decide you want to go to Paris today, you can do that.
It's just like, oh my god, I sure do attract the nut jobs of this world. My god, it's it's hilarious. Just like the last thing is you say, you're an elderly man. It's like, oh my god. Oh yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. I know how to attract them. That's for sure. So could be an interesting scenario to be a buyer in the DAX below 23,321. We'll see. Wow, it's just incredible. I am tempted to be a buyer of the DAX down here. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, but just people are commenting on that. So this is what he's saying. Um, he says, "You've heard Jesse Livermore, an icon for all traders. How did he end? My God, ladies and gentlemen, let me make one thing clear. Jesse Livermore is the role model of nobody. Do you get that? Nobody. How many times did he blow up? Repeatedly. I have seen traders like this when I worked as a broker. Absolutely phenomenally brilliant when the market goes in their direction. And then throwing it all away. Serial boom bust, boom bust, boom bust. Can make it, but can't keep it. I can make it, but I can bloody well keep it. And that is the hallmark of a trader. Keep it. Sure, make it. We can all make it, but keep it. Yes, concentrate on trading. I'm sorry. I'm concentrating on trading. I'm just deciding what is the right thing to do here. How do I keep it? My friend Nils is asking me. I keep it by making sure that I never go reckless. Of course, every now and then you have a bad day and you have a setback, but this is a business. Why God, the FTSE is weak, huh? I got out here at 8705. Look at it. It's 10 points lower now. Didn't I tell you not to get out? And yet you convinced me to do it. I'm joking. I'm still happy that I'm happy that I took the long on a school on a first buy negative, and I'm happy that I provide an analysis for we should probably be short if we close below. Yeah, I know I didn't trade it in big size. That's hardly the point here. Point is, built the right kind of action. You got a low here at 8679, 8690, 8678. So unless you're anticipating a complete meltdown of the FTSE, but even so, the FTSE doesn't have a history of making big bounces. Let me show you something. It's just saying that it's like big push higher. I was just trying to find the 23rd again, 24th it was. So here's the 24th, the day I'm kind of modeling, and we went down for approximately an hour from the break, and then a long sideways, and then more sell-off when the US market opened. What'll be interesting to see on the 24th is what happened. What was the range? It was about 110 points. Well, that's where we are now. We are on a 110 point range in the FTSE today. Excuse me. By the way, I have a very important question to ask you. What are you giving up for Lent? This is getting really interesting in the DAX, how it resembles yesterday. Sure does feel like there's many caught out. Two minutes until this bar completes. Very interesting price development. stand by for a long position in the DAX. I'm buying the DAX here. Basically just market is sort of repeating the pattern from yesterday. So if I've done this right, we're gonna hopefully reverse here below this meltdown bar. I've traded in smaller size, 50%. Not the best fill in the world, but it'll do. So far, so good. I move my stop loss up to the low of this bar, which is 24. Now, don't read anything into it, but I actually need to finish now, so I'm going to take profit here in the channel. So I'm closing it here. I have about 70, I don't know how many points in profit. I have about 27, 28 points in profit. So I read this really well. 35, 40, 45. I'll take 40. Okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm really quite happy with that trading. Let me just see where my trading account is. I am at an all-time high. At 16,515. So up 65%. And been trading an hour. I'm not up 65% today. That's not what I meant. But I really liked that trade that I just did there. I'm very proud of that. That was good. I'm still long myself here, but I actually do need to finish now, my loves. So I will see you for the US session. I hope that you enjoyed this display of live trading. Look after yourself, stay strong. I hope it made sense, everything I did. At least I explained it. Wanted to let this candle complete, want to be a buyer below. That's exactly what I did. Okay, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Now I got the joy of dealing with 434 messages, plus some nut job from some African nation who thinks that it's more important to educate me on the balance of life than looking after his own children. Bloody hell. Oh man, with everything else that's going on in the world, you gotta think, wow. See you later. Bye bye, my dears. Love you lots. All the very best.